what is the role of the HUPO project? The HUPO project is really trying to understand what it means to be healthy and how do people differ all around the planet. So what we're doing is we're actually taking people's blood and urine and also their stool samples. And what we're doing is doing deep omics profiling, the proteome, the metabolome, the transcriptome, to make as many measurements as possible to see at a molecular detail how people differ from one another. So we're going to see this, we're going to sample people from all around the globe at these human proteome meetings, and then we're going to see what their molecular diversity looks like. How do different ethnic groups and different locations have an impact on people's molecular composition? Do I think omics will be used in clinical situations? I think at some level, absolutely. That is to say, we'll be making thousands, if not more, measurements in the future. Right now, when you go to a doctor, they make about 15 measurements on you. And in the future, I think we'll be making hundreds, if not thousands, using various omics methods, especially proteomics and metabolomics will be very, very powerful for looking at people's molecular state, which I think will say a lot about their health and also what happens when they get sick. As HUPO president, what are my goals in the next 5 years? Well, what we'd like to do is many things. We want to keep advancing the field, advancing technology. We also want to keep making fundamental discoveries into human biology and disease. But I would argue it's more than that. We really want to also interface with the community and get proteomics out to a larger group. I think people realize now that the genome is only a very small part of the whole picture of what it means to be healthy and what it means to be sick. And the proteomics and other omics are going to be very, very valuable, and proteomics will be a huge part of that. We want to make sure that people are using it, this technology, and using it in the right fashion, getting very quantitative measurements to be able to get the maximum information we can. And so I think that'll be a goal. It's really to get proteomics out to everyone, if you will, get it integrated into these integrated multi-omics profiles that people will be using. I'd also like to see more and more proteomics get into the clinic. And lastly, I'd like to see just researchers in the general field be comfortable with proteomics. A lot of people don't use it because they don't understand it. They think it's too sophisticated. And I think it's going to become a lot more commonplace, a lot more turnkey. And so we want to see basically the whole world using proteomics in their assays because I think it has a lot of potential for, again, understanding human biology and disease. How important is communication between researchers and the general public? I think it's hugely important. That is to say, I think the public doesn't really understand science very well. They're very curious. They want to understand and learn about science. But I think in general, they don't know where to start and know what to say. And so I think giving presentations to the public by researchers is huge because it really lets people know what we're doing. It's actually not scary. It's pretty exciting, actually. And it often turns people on to possibly careers in science, but minimally not being afraid of science and wanting to embrace it. It's amazing how only something like 3% of clinical trials are filled, and there are lots of sick people who would take advantage of participating in a clinical trial, and they don't because they don't know about, they don't understand it. So if we can communicate better to people, we'd actually be getting more people engaged in science in ways that would probably help them, for example, like these clinical trials. Speaking for myself, I give about 8 or 10 public talks a year to various places, often very underprivileged areas. I give talks in, and everyone is very excited about science. They really do want to learn more. So I think we do need to get that out to them. And as you may or may not know, I've even written a book in the area of genomics and personalized medicine, which is intended to inform basically the educated public, if you will, about what we're doing, with the goal, again, of trying to have them understand what we're doing and not be afraid of it and, in fact, embrace it.